This kind of ties into what I was saying, because yesterday, you know, who also unveiled a gold card that cost $1 million, which non-Americans can buy as a fast-track visa that instantly gives them permanent resident status after they pass a background check. So,
okay,
But
I have
what
a
if they're
question.
from a blank whole country?
Exactly. What if a Somali has $1 million? Will they let him in? That is my question.
I don't know why you asking me. Because, you know, they
It's
just...
basically a rhetorical question.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, they say that Homeland Security is going to be doing the checks. But I thought that everybody said they didn't want folks coming in this way. I thought everybody said there's a way to do it. And now when people do it the right way, we arrest them and put them in other countries. Now we're saying to people, you can buy your way into the
But
U.S.
a lot of countries do that, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe Portugal was doing that for a while.
Singapore charges
Spain,
8 million, New Zealand 3 million, Samoa
But they don't want you to
1.4 million.
come. If they're charging you $8 million to come, they're like,
just on temporary,
okay.
I believe that's like a permanent visa.
Okay,
but
okay.
I mean, call me quaint, but I believe that we should prioritize asylum seekers and refugees, and then secondarily high-skilled labor that are going to create investment and jobs in the United States.
Manufacturing? What a concept.
And we also need a functioning workforce, too. My biggest issue with it is the branding makes it feel like America's for sale. It's the eagle, the face, the whole thing.
Who's on it?
Well, the president of the United States. This is something that exists in a lot of countries. I actually think 1 million is fairly low, considering that there are a lot of people who could pay to do that overnight, and they're going to jump in front of other people who've been waiting in the system to come in. I don't like the optics of it. I think that there's a clear priority of immigrants.
Let's wait to see if Haitians can do it, and Somalians can do it, and Nigerians can do it, and then we'll see if he means what he says.
It makes it sound like a chocolate factory. Like there's a golden friggin' ticket. And when you think of that movie, how like 5 grandparents slept in one bed because they had no money, but if you could get that golden ticket, this country was built on immigrants. The workforce, the labor, the people we're hurting for now. We don't need, when you say a lot of people can pay that, we don't need more people at the top. The problem here is the top is so heavy in this country. We need the people that do the work, not the ones that skip the line because they've got a lot of money.
Well, and the idea, too, that this would literally just prioritize those who are wealthier companies who are willing to sponsor somebody who's wealthy. Again, if you go back to these high-skilled visas that he actually is rolling back, that's what you need if you want to have the next Google, the next major company that's going to hire tens of thousands of people come and incorporate in the United States. Those are the visas you need.
What's the
not
last
just one rich person
What is
who's
the
not
last
bringing
thing he
jobs.
did for poor people? Can anyone remember any of it?
No.
I can't remember one thing he does for people who are not wealthy.
But I'm with you, Joy. I think the president may not understand that there's a lot of money in black countries. There's a lot of money in Africa. There's a lot of money in Nigeria.
There's
There's
what
a
goes
lot
on
of money
in any of the countries. When you really look at it, he's not aware.
Apparently, there's also going to be some sort of platinum card that has that's a $5 million
Do you get, like,
cost.
flying miles for that? Are there perks?
Access to the Admiral's Club.
Apparently, eligible applicants for the $5 million, they can spend up to 270 days in the U.S. without being subject to U.S. taxes on non-U.S. income. There's a lot of money in black and brown countries.
But you
How
know
many
what?
of these are there going to be? There's going to be a lot of people who.
Well, he doesn't recognize that if everybody who's in our audience today and who's watching said, you know what? Let's see how you do without us coming to work at all. Let's see who you're going to need, because all these people who go to work every day, who keep the country going, these are the people he's hurting. These are the people he's hurting, and hurting them in ways that are shocking.
He doesn't care.
I understand that, but he'll care if he can't get his lawn mowed. He'll care if he can't get his stuff done. When people can't get what they need, then they wake up and say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right, I didn't want to do that job. That's why we have all this food rotting on farms.
Well, people were hungry.
No,
Because
farmers,
people
no
are
food,
starving,
as
you
they
know,
say.
and because we don't have what we need. And I'm shocked that I even said Ronald Reagan was a big proponent of making sure that people were able to come in to this country
Legally.
as immigrants and work. You know, that was one of the things that I could say I agreed with him on, because all at this table are immigrants, all of us. And probably most 99.9% of y'all. So this is just, the Epstein files are in the ether. There's a lot of stuff going on they don't want you to pay
December
attention
19th,
to. This
Epstein
is
files
yes.
released,
And this
allegedly.
is more Hazarai.